Justin Shackle, Steve Levy, welcome you back here to Fairfield Warde. It's been all Danbury through the first 3 matches. They're on top 17-zip over the Mustangs. 2 pins and a technical fall to open things up. We move along to 126 pounds. And there's Frank Callace for Danbury, a freshman, getting inserted into the lineup. And he'll be taking on Danny Almeida, Jr., coming in with a 14-3 record for the Mustangs. So Almeida and Callace going at it here at 126. The original 126-pounder is a captain for Danbury. That's Dylan Bryan. And he was a late scratch, but right out of the gate, you see the freshman Callace being a little more aggressive and going in for a shot against Danny Almeida.
Callace gets a shot here on MSG varsity. In place of the captain. Not sure what's going on with Dylan Bryan, but obviously Coach Shook decided to go with the freshman. On the other side, Almeida. 14-3, junior, strong, very tough. He's got that cradle going. Very athletic. He's been starting since his freshman year. He's got 75 wins already as a junior, 30+ in each of his freshman and sophomore seasons. So very accomplished 126-pounder for Warde.
That's very rare. He's a quick learner, if anything. Callace is a first-year wrestler. Having a pretty good year for a first-year guy in the varsity lineup. 7-4 record for Frank Callace. Both pretty light, though, for their weights.
Almeida kind of got lucky. He's going to face Dylan Bryan, who's projected as the state champion this year.
This gives Fairfield Warde a chance to get on the board and maybe take advantage of an inexperienced freshman in Callace. They are down overall. The team scored 17-0. Less than a minute to go here in the first period at 126. No points yet. There's the 2 awarded to Danny Almeida, according to Tom Cunningham, the referee. See where he'll go to work now on top. Near the edge of the mat, and we'll go back to center circle with 24 seconds remaining on the first period clock. There you see Jason Shaughnessy, hoping that his 126-pounder can put some points on the board for the Mustangs.
Shaughnessy was coached by the great Joe Arati from Lakeland Regional. He's a great guy. Learned a lot from him, maturity-wise, very honest. Learned a lot of his work ethic from Coach Arati. And Coach Joe Arati, Coach Jim Day, is the Berlin coach. So, a lot of experience in the corner of Jason Shaughnessy.
And for the first period, and it's Danny Almeida and Frank Callace, 2-0. Almeida will choose to go on bottom. Callace will work from the top position for the first time in this match. Trying to break him down. And work from there. Almeida trying to turn in. Now up to his feet. He'll break the grip. Can he get it off? Good return to the mat from Callace. There's Ricky Shook.
Ricky Shook, 1983 graduate of Danbury. Two-time state champ, two-time FCAC champ. And he went to Central Connecticut State at 118 all 4 years. Took 3rd in the D1 regionals. And he went D1 the next year and took 3rd in the New Englands. And his coach was Mike Morris, who really started the program here in Danbury and learned a lot of discipline and life lessons. He said coach suspended him for 3 matches when he was in high school because he was sick. And his parents, he had an older brother at the time, and his brother had a tournament, and he was sick, so he couldn't go to practice. Coach said he didn't go to practice, but he went to his brother's tournament. Coach found out. Coach Morris benched him for 3 matches. So he said he learned a lot from that, and he's just a great guy. And his son actually coaches over at Bacon and Colchester. Last year won the Open State. So He's got a nice little line over there as well, like Coach Shaughnessy.
Those are the kind of youthful stories that he'll tell us and not his wrestlers, just so he doesn't get
Oh, yeah. He said he was a captain his senior year, and first couple years, Coach Morris said, I don't know about this one, but he worked his tail off. And then Central, Ken DeStephanis was his coach.
High School Sports Desk now has dedicated regional coverage. You can watch 30 minutes dedicated to Long Island, New Jersey, New York City, or Hudson Valley and Connecticut. High School Sports Desk weeknights at 7 p.m. on MSG Varsity. Only on Optimum. Never on Fios. Never on satellite.
Never.
Coming out of the injury timeout, and Almeida had 3-0 over the freshman Frank Callace here in the second period. About 45 seconds to go in the middle period at 1:26. First 3 matches went to Danbury. Almeida trying to turn around that trend. They wrestle near the edge of the circle. Callace's headgear flops off. Trying to throw from his knees is the freshman.
Callace hanging in there against the experienced Almeida. It just shows you a lot. Callace's a JV wrestler with Danbury, and freshman gets his shot and plays to Dylan Bryant. A lot of depth at Danbury. You don't see a lot in wrestling throughout the tri-state area with depth. And Danbury and Fairfield and Warde both have top to bottom depth at each weight class. And talked to a lot of the coaches around the tri-state, Justin, and we've done a lot of matches all over the place. And not a lot of coaches like the new weight class. And these two teams actually favored this year because a lot of their talent's up top, and you can feel it. They said they got lucky. And therefore, the old system as well. And we'll see how that all pans out in the next year or so. If they'll go back.
Second period in the books. We move on to the third. Almeida had 3-0 over Callace. See what Callace can do on bottom here. Tries for a quick Granby roll. Almeida stays with him. That leg laced. I was asking Jason Shaughnessy, the head coach for Fairfield Warde, trying to get an opponent's point of view. Danbury is so tough year in, year out. What makes Danbury stand out year after year? I'm wondering if it's one constant variable or if it changes year to year based on the personnel they have up and down their lineup. And we're just saying that when you see Ricky Shook, his program is probably one of the best feeder programs you'll find in the tri-state area. And it's just that those kids that might be in the middle school Danbury program right now could step up and wrestle at the varsity level, no problem. You don't see that all too much in any other area. And you talk to Ricky Shook about it. That personifies the program. It's a family program. The elementary kids know all the high school kids and vice versa. So you talk about the depth. Well, they start churning them out when they're still in elementary school.
Oh, yeah, Coach Shaughnessy coaches the youth program. That's a straight feeder, and that's one of his jobs is to keep it consistent each year.
There you see Coach Shook trying to offer some advice to Frank Callace on bottom.
Yeah, and Coach Shook had to make the change from Dylan Bryant to Callace because I was a little under the weather today, so obviously you have to take precaution heading into the last 9 meets or so.
You hear Coach Shook before telling Callace to get moving from the bottom. He was hit with a stalling. Right now on the verge of being shut out. Up 3-0 is Danny Almeida. 30 seconds to go in the final period at 1:26. As it stands right now, this would be the first match win of the duel for the Mustangs. Trying to bulldoze his way and getting Callace on his back. Less than 10 seconds to go. And Danny Almeida, the junior, will come away with the regular decision over the freshman Frank Callace at 126 and put the Mustangs on the board. And it's now a 17-3 Danbury lead after 4 matches.
Well, the freshman Callace in a pinch did a great job of not allowing the match to go obscene. Obviously, Callace a little bit younger, a little inexperienced, but Danny Almeida gets it done for Warde with the decision.
So he gets his 15th victory of the year for Jason Shaughnessy's Mustangs. And we move along to 100.